Hey everybody, good morning. It's Pete. Welcome to a new episode of today's Best Stock Picks. It is Thursday morning, March 11, 2021. We're going to get right into it. There's a lot going on today, but mostly we're going to talk about what we did not get yesterday, which was really interesting. A little frustrating if you're a day trader. A lot of stuff went sideways yesterday. There were a few pockets of opportunity, but the big thing we're going to talk about is what we did not see yesterday after the higher opening. It wasn't a gap. It was a higher opening in the market. We're also obviously going to talk about DraftKings today. We actually have 14 stocks we're going to discuss today. So stick around and we will have. All right, so getting right into it. Obviously, everything we want to do needs a catalyst. That's obviously the reason smart money to dip their hands into something and start pushing it in one direction, or maybe even dumping those stocks, right? So we're going to head right over to the charts. We're going to get right into it. One thing I'd like to ask is, first, I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you for being a part of my community. I'd like to thank you for being here with me in these videos each day. If you could please do me a favor, let me know what you like to watch. And I know that by if you give us a thumbs up, that's how I know. So if you like these videos, definitely give us a thumbs up. If you have questions about what we talk about in the videos, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. We'll have a little bit of a back and forth. And definitely subscribe to the channel. That would mean the world to me. It tells me that I'm actually providing value for you. So we're going to head over to the charts. We're going to talk about DraftKings. We're going to talk about Cathie Wood. We're going to talk about GME and why I don't talk about her. So we're going to look at that as well. So still getting used to all the fancy stuff that we're using here. So let's head on over to the charts. And we're going to start out with obvious catalyst, right? Starting out with Wall Street Journal here. House passes the bill. Now it's set to be signed. Everybody's saying by Friday. So the big question that we have right now, the monster question that we have right now is this priced in? Everybody's talking about inflation. Everybody's talking about interest rates right now, right? Is this priced in? I want to just be super clear because all the trades we make have to be put in context. They have to be put in context of when it's happening and where. That's a big part of price action, and specifically tape reading. Price action is one thing. Where does that price action happen? And now we got this catalyst of a stimulus package. Will this be the launching pad for a new bull run, or it's a year after the pandemic? Will this already be priced in? This is where you really make your money as a trader, and especially as a growth investor, which is a little bit longer time frame than as a trader. We need to pay attention to whether or not price reacts positively to this. I'm expecting it to, but I don't have an opinion. I just need to pay attention, and you need to do the same thing. This could be a glorious next 3 or 4 months if this gets passed, when it gets passed, and we see it bounce. Same thing going on in the ECB. We're actually going to take a look at that right now. They are announcing their interest rates today. So we'll see what happens there in the afternoon. If you're trading, that needs to be something you need to pay attention to as well for this afternoon. But we're going to get right into DraftKings. Actually, earnings today that are scheduled are Oracle and Skills, SKLZ. And after the close is DocuSign. So we'll take a quick look at those stocks right now. ORCL scheduled for before the market open. Looks like they actually might have reported already. Skills, SKLZ, in that crazy universe of SPAC, and DocuSign. DocuSign is scheduled pre-market. I do want to talk about something before we actually get into DraftKings, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. I want to talk about this stock, which is the stock of the moment, the stock that everybody, especially active traders, and you can see how it's like, oh, all right, it rallied yesterday, right? Here's why I don't mention it actively, and I don't even call it out in my community. This is why. Yes, this is actually a real chart. It fell $190. $190 intraday. This is why I try my best to keep my community in position to where we're only trading stocks that have a high likelihood of moving in our favor. They're not involved in this little universe. It's trading in its own little bubble right now. And this is why I have been not telling people not to trade it as much as telling them if you can't make fast decisions, you should not be in it. And that's why. This is a day trading nightmare if you're especially a new day trader and you don't have the discipline to get out of trades when they start moving against you. So again, if you want to be a part of our community, you want to understand which stocks are the ones that that have a high likelihood of moving. The way we trade is very stress-free. We make a game plan before the market, and then when the market opens, we're basically just sitting back and looking for stocks in our game plan. So think about that. If your trading is stressed out right now and it's kind of all over the place, what we do is pretty easy. Sometimes it's boring because there's not a heck of a lot going on. Like yesterday, we had to move up and we went sideways. There are some opportunities. But if you want to decrease all the stress in your trading, click down below into the link and learn what we do in the boot camp. It's only 30 days. It's not a subscription. It's basically a 30-day seminar where we're live the entire month. So if you're stressed out right now and you want to make it a little bit simplified, for lack of a better way of putting it, click down and learn about that. So I wanted to point out GameStop. I wanted to point out GME because it's not one of the top stocks that we're buying right now, at least for me. We are dipping our toes a little bit more. Crypto stocks are looking like they have some levels. We're going to talk about Mara as well today. So I guess that would make 15 stocks we're going to talk about today. So let's head over to the charts. We'll jump back over to the daily charts and we'll talk about DraftKings. That was the first one that we started out with here today. So again, we've been pretty active in DraftKings this year. It's been, when it has news, it actually pops. Yesterday was Investor Day. You get the Cathie Wood news on top of that, and it's actually up a little bit more. It looks like it's going to have a pop that should take us into new all-time highs in the stock. What's interesting about the stock is that it seems to move in $5 increments. So now we just got through 65, 75 should be at least the next level. When it pops, it moves $10 and it kind of consolidates. Pops, moves $10, maybe a little bit more, consolidates. But this is big news with Cathie Woods with the 949,000 shares that ARK purchased yesterday, as well as SKLZ, when we showed you that in the beginning here. Okay, SKLZ and SKLZ and DraftKings. And you can see here yesterday. How do we know this? Well, they send out a daily email of everything that they're buying, so it's pretty interesting. So anyway, what's the trade here? We obviously need to get above 72.50. It looks like we're going to open up just above 70. We are looking for follow through yesterday. A couple of members in our community yesterday took the first trade, got involved, and really popped in a pretty good way. So over 72.50 clearly is the catalyst. But if you did not put the trade on yesterday, today, higher opening, looking for an opening range breakout, you have a little bit tighter risk in looking for the next push through to all-time highs. Now, where would you get out? That's the big question, right? Where would you get out? Now, for me personally, below 65 is the level. So that means that you have to manage your share size within that window. Now, that's roughly $5 from where it looks like it's going to open right now. So then it means you need to make a minimum of 15 on the trade. So we just said it normally moves in $10 increments. So it might be need to be a little bit more patient on the profit target of that trade. Now, maybe the Cathie Wood news is better for this stock. We'll see. We'll let the market tell us. Again, that's what good traders do. We don't guess. We don't forecast. We let the price action tell us what's going to happen next. One other one, I want to throw a quick lesson in here, which is pretty interesting. One of our members yesterday called this stock out as a buy. And I want to help you train your mind to understand what order flow is. And we mentioned this quite a bit. Order flow is the smart money, the deep pockets that are pushing your stocks around. So essentially what we're looking for is if we're going to join the order flow, if we're going to piggyback and write a script each morning of following them, we need to know what they're already doing. And when you're fighting a stock that's had 5 weeks of selling, 4 weeks of selling, 3 weeks of selling, and only 1 day of buying, you're fighting that 2 or 3 or 4 weeks of selling, and you're not putting on a high probability trade, which means, let's call it what it is in trading terms, you're picking a bottom. And there's no reason to do that. There's so many stocks already doing what you want to. So many stocks where it's obvious the deep pockets, the smart money, are already buying those stocks. Those are the ones that should have your attention because they have smart money attention. So yesterday, somebody called out TAL as a buy, looking like it's turning around. Well, first of all, why bother if it's not turning around yet? But this is a really good illustration where 1 day of smart money buying that created a green candle, fighting 2 or 3 or 4 weeks of selling, and that's not a good idea. And I'm going to show you that so you have a visual to really spot that. So this is the stock that we're looking at, TAL. And if you could visualize, that was yesterday's game plan meeting, which we have every day at 8:30 in the community. And basically the argument was, it looks like it's bottoming out. And my reply to that, which is what we do every day in the game plan, was you're fighting this. You're fighting this for 2 or 3 weeks of selling. In this case, about 3 weeks of selling. And it's not a good idea. There's no reason to be looking at a stock that's going down right now. It's 1 day of buying. And then this is what ended up happening yesterday. So what I'm trying to say here, what I'm trying to really get across, is a monster part of trading, is avoiding situations that are very low probability where, again, everything is risk reward and position sizing after you have your edge. This particular idea had a very low probability of following through, which means that accepting risk on the trade didn't have much of a good argument, so there was no reason to. Now, could the stock be bottoming out? Could it be turning around? Maybe it happens today. I don't know, but that's not the point. The point is right now it's not. If you're saying it might turn around, you're literally admitting it's a low probability situation. Find the ideas where smart money is already doing what you want the stock to do. And that's that's really our specialty in the boot camp. So again, if you want to learn more about that, click down all the way down in the description. And I'd love to see you on the other side. We have probably what I believe the best community out there. So we're going to head over and we're going to finish up with some of the ideas that we're looking at today. AA was a swing trade that we initiated yesterday. Really good, clean breakthrough, really good base after a bullish gap, looking for follow through there. The theme of the day, if I had to give it a theme, is industrial stocks. Boeing actually flew through new highs yesterday. Now, the challenge here is that it's already gone about $20, $25. So I'm looking for a new pause above 240 and then looking for the next level. I probably can day trade it if we get what we call a bullish echo today, which means good buying and then a punch through. If you want to initiate a new long here, a new swing trade above this 240 breakout level, it needs to have a little bit lower risk because of how big yesterday's candle was. You're not going to risk yesterday's candle because it's pretty wide. Next, we have BLDR, which is an interesting breakout here. Very, very clean breakout. Getting along the same lines, I want to make sure that we point out Lennar. I'm going to go through them, and then we'll talk about which one is the best opportunity here that I believe. Lennar, Toll Brothers, and then PHM. Okay, so now Toll Brothers is actually the one that is showing the greatest promise because it actually has already punched into new highs. Now, the thing you need to be careful about here is in Toll Brothers, you can see when it breaks out, it pulls back, it breaks out, it pulls back. This one pulled back for almost a month. The smart trade here in Toll Brothers is to be watching it because it's already doing what we want it to do, is to be building that position. Don't get caught if it breaks out, pulls back, and doesn't follow through. Put on a piece of your trade. If it pulls back, have your risk. If it doesn't pull back, you start to add as it moves in your favor. General Motors, again, sticking with the industrial old school theme, really good clean breakout here above 56. I love this as a new trade punching through here. A close below 56 would be my stop. The trade I wanted to talk about that I'm actually super happy with is Citigroup. Really good follow through yesterday, but I think more importantly, as I said, we have a really nice community inside the boot camp. I just want to congratulate Ellen, who's a newer member, really getting her feet wet and closed out her first profitable trade in Citigroup yesterday. And it was just really good to see because I know how hard she's working. So Ellen, congratulations. I'm very happy for you. And more importantly, I'm proud of you that you keep working hard and you're getting to, you're really starting to understand what to do, which puts you in control of the trade. So also nice job of holding on to the profitable trade. That was really great to see. So looking for follow through at Citigroup. ExxonMobil, actually a really good push, a pause, a push, a pause, and now a new pause. We have some room to go as well. Maybe a little bit of short-term resistance here at the 62 area, but after that, we're looking at 72. So it has roughly $10 potential on top of that. And then sticking with the old school stuff, Dow actually looking at a breakthrough, DOW and Mosaic. So we have some good, clean price action yesterday. If you happen to be day trading yesterday, quite a few stocks actually moved up and then the volume just kind of dried up. But it was interesting. We had some conversations. This is what I started at the beginning of the video talking about. It was interesting. We gapped up. We had it wasn't a gap. It was a higher open. The gap is outside of the previous day's range. So the SPY opened up higher, much higher, and kind of went sideways for the majority of the day it seemed like it was drifting. But in the afternoon, we said, what do we call for tomorrow? We're basically saying as a community, teaching everybody how to read the price action. What are we expecting for tomorrow and why? And that's really where you start to think through your ideas. And we had a bunch of answers. And I said, those are all good answers. I said, but what we're not seeing right now is selling. We didn't see the gap up or I keep calling it a gap, the higher opening. It didn't slowly drift down the rest of the day. It stayed sideways, which meant that there were no sellers. So it's interesting. We're not exactly seeing perfect price action, but the sellers could have came in and didn't. And we're seeing a higher opening now. The S&P futures are up around 25 points at the time that I'm recording this. So again, there's no reason or no need to predict. Once you understand how to put the pieces together, once you understand how to do tape reading, once you understand how to build arguments and then set risk reward, Trading's pretty stress-free. We script everything out before the market opens. Sometimes it's boring, but you know what? You know what's not boring? Getting paid. We're getting paid at the end of the month because we're patient and we're not throwing money away by trading because the market's open. So I hope that you're doing the same thing as us. If not, I'd love to see you in the community. We have a really, really nice community. Thank you so much for being here with me on social media too. That's a big deal too for me. So again, if you like these videos and you find them helpful, definitely give us a thumbs up. That would mean the world to me, as well as subscribe so you get updates too. So click the little bell down there as well, and have a profitable day. Be awesome today and be more than you ever thought was possible. I'll see you soon, everybody. Take care.